what is a prophetic writer? He was like, you're a prophetic writer.
I've taken the Prophetic Writers class before. It has given me back more than I could even imagine.
I've never heard God so clearly since I've been here.
I just know I was meant to be here. So coming here and actually experiencing the retreat, it's even more than I could have even imagined.
Coming across Tiana was such a journey. It was really awesome. I was at a prophetic conference with my church, Refreshing Waters, and she had this cute little writer stand. I was actually in her first prophetic writers class when God first gave it to her. And then after that, she was talking about having a retreat. And I remember just tuning into that, and I'm like, oh, this is something that I have to do. I finished the prophetic writers course, and it changed my life. How I approach spending time with God. So I knew that retreat is going to be just as good, if not better.
What are you willing to do? What are you willing to walk away from? What are you willing to learn? What are you willing to unlearn? So whatever it is that you're expecting in this real life, what are you willing to do?
Wow, I'm learning so much about myself while I'm here. And it isn't a retreat just about writing, but oh man, the prophetic part, that's a totally different story. But to be a wealthy writer, it is a big part of it is spiritual. And I love the session we had where she went really deep on that part, because before you can find your wealthy place, there's some things that you have to deal with spiritually.
Once I joined the course, it was at first I was nervous, I was scared, because I'm like, maybe I don't feel like I may be ready to be in that spiritual journey. I love God, I know God, but I didn't feel like I was ready to give up my old lifestyle. So after going through Ms. Deanna's course, it was so profound to me that the things that I was afraid to let go of was easy to let go of, because I was able to replace them with something greater, which was God's presence. Going through the course and getting to know Ms. Deanna and just seeing that the power of God is real, not just something, like I said, not just something that people just talk about or they just look at as a prophetic writers course. And when she had this retreat, I was like, okay, well, I gotta come. There's something powerful about it.
I'm having a really good time at this retreat. I'm learning so much. I'm learning a lot more about God. I'm learning about finances. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And I'm taking everything in, and this is only day 2. So I'm very grateful to be here. I've ate well, I've slept well, and it's just all good, all positive vibes.
So as I'm going into, prepping for this retreat, I couldn't move my neck, I couldn't look to the left. And I was kind of like, I would rather sleep in than go to a retreat at this point. I was stressed from work, my master's program I wasn't doing so well. And the last thing on my mind was to actually travel, to actually have to think more and just approach the things that I was trying to push on the back burner. So there was a lot of resistance. I was late, but we did make it. And that was a testament in itself, because I didn't allow the pain that I was feeling, I didn't allow work stress to overbear me to miss the blessings that were here. So when we got here, we were late, but everybody was welcoming. And that in itself was a major deal, because nobody was like, oh, why is she late? There was no judgment. And it was like we fit in immediately. So that was amazing. So once we got here on day 1, we were greeted, we were welcomed, and we got right into it.
I'm so grateful to be here because it has been a very wonderful experience. We have been able to take a deep look as far as what wealth means. What does wealth look like? Just not financially, but also as a person, what God says about being wealthy, being prosperous, what He desires for us. So we've been learning about wealth and how God desires for us to be wealthy and prosperous, and the steps that need to be taken so that we are able to actually walk it out and live it out.
I just know I was meant to be here. So coming here and actually experiencing the retreat is even more than I could have even imagined. Like actually tapping into the root of what it's like operating God, not just knowing the knowledge of God or reading the Bible, but to tap into his presence. So this retreat has definitely impacted my life. I know that when I go back home, I'm not going to be the same person that left. You know, I'm going to be completely different. From the beginning of Prophetic Writers course to now, I'm not the same person. You're a different person, and I feel like that would have never happened if I didn't experience this course.
For me personally, what it has done is give me an understanding of the fact that certain things I have allowed myself to be engaged in has caused me to stay in lack and not be able to come out of the place of poverty, which poverty is a spirit. This retreat has given me that breakthrough and just that knowledge and understanding of what it is to be a wealthy child of God.
But it was just so cool just to see like her like push me and bring things out of me and just answer like questions that I've been longing for, and just her guiding me to the right direction. I can say so far everything has been so like incredible. I've never heard God so clearly since I've been here. So really just learning obedience and just being in a place where it's just sisterhood, it's unity, it's family, and where everyone is growing together.
When I did my one-on-one with Deanna, she just asked me, what do you need? And I was in so much pain, I didn't know what to ask for. And from there, we just prayed. And I kid you not, she just laid her hands on like the pressure points of my neck. And she started just calling out like fear, calling out the Python spirit. My tongue was being, that Python spirit was taken. And like, I really got to scream. Like I've been wanting to scream. That's the testament of God. When you press through despite the pain, when you press through despite of the heaviness, the burdens, like God will meet you. And I think that's the biggest testament that I received. I thought wealth was about a money amount, but it's also about my value to God. So I do feel wealthy. Like I came here with the expectation of learning about wealth, and I feel like I got that. And I'm just excited about even the deeper levels of this retreat, because this is where I am now. I truly believe this. And then I'll get to a little about you.
I've taken the Prophetic Writers class before. It has given me back more than I can even imagine what God is doing in Deanna's life. I couldn't even imagine, what I have experienced, what I've seen.
All I can say is you need to be in the room. The next time this retreat happens, you need to be in the room. If you know that you have a call to write, you know that you're supposed to be wealthy, you need to be here.
I remember in 2017, I was going through a really, really hard time in my life, and I was trying to discover my purpose. I knew that working a 9-to-5 wasn't what God called me to do, but I just didn't know what I was supposed to do. I've always been a writer. I've always enjoyed writing, but I knew there was more. And so it was in 2017 when I was having one of my moments with God, and I hear this term, prophetic writer, and I go, prophetic writer, what is that, God? What is a prophetic writer? He was like, you're a prophetic writer. And I'm like, okay, well, what is a prophetic writer? What does a prophetic writer do? Like, I've heard of a scribe, it's in the Bible, but what is a prophetic writer? And God's like, Deanna, you are going to write your way out of poverty. And the tears began to fall literally on the pages of my notebook. And I'm like, God, how am I going to use the ability to write to get me out of poverty? A year later, right, another breadcrumb. God's like, I want you to begin to teach what it means to be a prophetic writer. Well, God was inviting me to trust him. And so literally for 5 weeks, I came up with this curriculum. I came up with this outline, and I began to literally write down the steps that a prophetic writer goes through, like what their process is. And as I'm writing things, I'm just writing what I hear in my prayer time. So I'm writing all these great things. And before I knew it, this course was created, the Prophetic Writers course. I announced it to my friends and my family on social media. In my very first course, I had 8 people. From that course, literally now, we are getting ready to enter into our 6th time doing it in just 18 months. I've had over 60 people now go through the Prophetic Writers course. And now we've just launched our very first Prophetic Writers Retreat. And I'm so excited because I see the promotion that God has given me. I see the transformation. I understand the importance of using your pen, your pencil, or if you're one that types, using that ability that you have to write to get yourself, get your family out of poverty and into wealth. And so now I'm on this journey, not only to just teach online, but to bring people together, to bring prophetic writers, like-minded women and men, to begin to write their way out of poverty and write their way into wealth, or write your way into whatever your kingdom purpose is. My name is Deanna Braxton, and I look forward to welcoming you to the next Prophetic Writers Retreat.